We're hearing a lot about tech certifications these days, and one that keeps popping up is the AWS Solutions Architect Associate exam. For anyone in the cloud space, passing this seems to be a huge goal. But the question is always, how? Especially when you see these incredibly aggressive study plans. Today, we're diving into a roadmap for tackling this beast.
I'm glad we're talking about this. For someone who's already working in DevOps and using AWS services like EC2 or S3 daily, this certification is the logical next step. It's not just about getting a badge for your LinkedIn. It's about proving you can build truly optimized, efficient cloud solutions, which is what every company is looking for right now.
So, for someone who's already using these services, what's the real added value? I mean, they're already doing the work. Is it just a piece of paper?
That's a great question. The key word is optimization. Using a service is one thing, but the SAA-C03 forces you to think beyond just making things work. It pushes you to make them work better, more cost-effectively, more securely, and with higher availability. It's a mindset shift from being a user to being an architect. That change in thinking is what directly impacts project success and, frankly, the company's bottom line.
That makes perfect sense. It's about elevating your existing skills to architect for efficiency. So, with that understanding, how does one actually prepare for an exam like this? What's the strategic approach?
Well, the strategy we're looking at today is pretty intense. It starts with setting a hard deadline.
Right? The author scheduled their exam for May 21st, giving themselves just 15 days to study. They didn't try to boil the ocean. They filtered out what they already knew well, like EC2 and S3, and then dedicated 4 hours a day for 5 days specifically to the topics they were weak on, taking notes the whole time.
That is such a smart, targeted approach. It's a sprint, not a marathon. Instead of wasting time relearning familiar concepts, they went straight for the knowledge gaps. That kind of focused, daily study is intense, but it's designed for maximum impact in a short time.
Exactly. It's about efficiency in learning. Now, with the plan in place, the next big question is always about resources. What tools and materials did the author rely on to get through those challenging topics?
Well, the primary resource mentioned was Spoto's course, which is a popular choice.
And looking at the topics they focused on, it's a huge list. They did a deep dive into core services like EC2, S3, IAM, and networking, but it gets specific, fast S3 lifecycle policies, different compute purchasing options, CloudFront caching, VPC networking, and security services like KMS and IAM.
Spoto is definitely a solid resource, and that breakdown of topics is a perfect illustration of the exam's breadth. It's not enough to know what S3 is. You need to know the difference between S3IA, Glacier, and Glacier Vault. It covers everything from the granular details of storage to the strategic application of networking.
I see. Looking at this list, S3 lifecycle policies, EBS versus EFS, NAT gateways versus NAT instances. It's clear the exam isn't just about knowing what a service is, but when and why to use one specific configuration over another.
Exactly. That is the absolute core of being an architect. It's all about understanding the trade-offs. For example, choosing between S3 Standard and S3 Glacier isn't just about cost. It's a decision based on data access patterns and retrieval times. The exam will give you a scenario with keywords like cost-optimized or frequent access, and you have to make that nuanced decision.
That nuance is clearly key. So, we've covered the strategy and the core topics, but what about the actual experience of taking practice exams and learning from mistakes? That's often where the real breakthroughs happen.
Oh, for sure. That's where the theory meets reality. And it's not always pretty at first.
You can say that again. The author shared that their first few practice exams yielded some really discouraging scores. We're talking 49%, 53%, 54%. The mistakes were things I think we can all relate to. Rushing, skipping the explanations for wrong answers, not quite remembering the difference between similar services, and missing critical keywords like least or not.
Those are incredibly common pitfalls, especially under the pressure of a timer. It's so easy to miss a single word that changes the entire meaning of the question. It really highlights that this exam isn't just a knowledge test. It's a test of careful reading and strategic thinking.
So, after those initial low scores, What was the transformative shift in their approach? What specific actions turned those low percentages into scores in the 80s?
The shift was from passive learning to active, critical engagement. Instead of just taking a test to see what score they got, they started using it as a training tool. They began actively hunting for keywords like high availability or minimum overhead. They practiced eliminating the two obviously wrong answers right away. And most importantly, they forced themselves to read the explanation for every single question, even the ones they got right.
Got it? So it's about understanding why the right answer is right and why the wrong answers are wrong.
Precisely. That deliberate practice, focusing on times, how times to answer, not just times what times the answer is what makes the difference. That's what turns knowledge into a passing score.
That's a powerful insight, treating practice exams as a strategic training tool. It really underscores the importance of learning from every mistake. So, looking back on this entire process, what's the overarching message for anyone thinking about taking on this challenge?
Well, first, if you're a DevOps or cloud engineer, this certification is absolutely worthwhile for honing your optimization skills. Second, a good plan is everything. Set a deadline to create urgency, and then be brutally honest about your weak spots and focus your energy there. And finally, you have to master the nuances. The exam is all about applying knowledge to solve specific problems, so understanding the trade-offs between services is key. Don't just memorize what a service does. Learn when and why to use it. If you do that, and you learn from your practice mistakes, you'll be in great shape.